Holiday shopping season is here, and finding the perfect gifts while staying on budget can be stressful. That's where Amazon and their AI assistant for shopping, Rufus, come in. Simply tell Rufus what you're looking for, even for those impossible to shop for people on your list, and it suggests personalized options within your desired budget. Plus, Amazon was just named the lowest priced U.S. online retailer for 9 years running by Profitero, with prices up to 14% lower across top categories. Between the incredible deals, personalized shopping help from Rufus, and same-day or one-day delivery on millions of items, Amazon makes gift-giving simple and affordable. It transforms the entire holiday shopping experience, leaving more time to actually enjoy the season with family. For stress-free holiday shopping that won't break your budget, visit Amazon.com.
Y'all, Stages is now sponsored by BetterHelp, and I couldn't be more excited because I love therapy. So I encourage you, if you've had a tough year and a half, why don't you give them a shot? You can find a therapist that you can connect with. Their resource is thousands of therapists, well-trained and experienced. You can keep looking until you find someone that you click with. They have customized online therapy. They do offer videos, but they also offer phone and live chat sessions. So you don't even have to be seen. You can only be heard. What are you waiting for? Go to BetterHelp. That's HELP.com/stages. And for our cast members, you get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp.com/stages. Go, go, go. Go find your healing. Go find your happy. Stages podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's HELP. Hi, I'm Stephanie J. Block.
And I'm Mary Lee Fairbanks. Welcome to Stages Podcast,
where we're bringing creation and connection to center stage. I have to stop you right away. Will you take off that gorgeous jingly bracelet that you're wearing? Do you have a jingly bracelet?
Me? No.
Is it me?
Is it this?
No, it's a jingle.
Yeah, I just heard the jingle there.
It's the
Do you
spirit.
have a pup or something?
No,
it's the chair.
That's my chair.
It's all right.
I was hoping it was a spirit. Jacob Marley's coming through.
The chains are long and heavy. Listeners, are you ready? So I had the extreme pleasure of meeting and working with this ladybug of a human at the first national tour of Wicked when she was just 19 years old. She is truly one of my favorite people on the earth because she has this extraordinary balance. She is simultaneously real and grounded and like completely fanciful. And that is her MO in both life and also what makes her so magical on stage. And it is the most delightful combination and totally authentic and singular to only her. She has an enviable stage resume: Wicked, Legally Blonde, Hair, Rent, Kiki Boots. She was the titular character in Sylvia. And if you don't know that play, the titular character is a dog. We'll talk about that later. She won the Tony. She won the Drama Desk. She won the Outer Critics for You Can't Take It With You as Essie Carmichael. And her TV and film credits are so many that I'm getting dry mouthed. So I'm just going to say that she is currently on CBS and Be Positive as Gina Dabrowski. And she is also the exquisite and wonderful and wacky, and the only way, other than Paula Jones, who can play Paula Jones, is Annaleigh Ashford in FX Impeachment, American Crime Story. Ladies and gentlemen, all humans, ladybugs, and magical fairies, welcome to Stages Podcast, Ms. Annaleigh Ashford. Annaleigh Ashford to stage. Annaleigh, to stage, please.
Oh, thank you. That was the best intro I've ever gotten. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you so much for coming and being here. I know you have a little one. I know you're so busy, so we really, really appreciate it.
Are you kidding me? Stephanie is the first person that I hugged during the pandemic. other than my family.
And we wept. We fell into each other's arms and we wept.
We did.
So we're going to keep that love going. When did your love of wigs begin, Annaleigh? Like, how did that even start? Hard hitting reporting.
Okay, I have never really thought about this, but it's amazing that my answer is immediate. My grandma Carol had a box in the bottom of the linen closet. It had a couple of hair pieces, but she was a brunette and I was a blonde child. As a child, I was a natural blonde. Now I pay for it to look like when I was a child. Anyways, she had a couple of falls, and then like one was just like a bun piece, and I would basically wear them as a hat, like a wig as a hat. It was a hair hat. Mm-hmm. So anyways, I think my love of wigs began with that magical box in the linen closet. But I mean, I just can't remember not loving wigs. But that was my first access to a good wig,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was watching some of your Wig Wednesday cooking things that you do.
Well, I happen to be a WW, which is formerly known as Weight Watchers member.
Oh, they don't go by that at all anymore.
No, it is a total reboot. I've been with the old WW for like 13 years now. And really I'm a diehard, go to meetings, full out, helped me change my relationship with food and the way that I think and look about my body. And also, man, as actors, I don't know if you feel this way. I have had people say the most horrific things to me about my body at all times and places and spaces that you just can't believe it. You're like, are you really saying this to me right now? And Joe has been there for many moments that, I'd be like, this happens. He'd be like, no, it doesn't. Now he's seen it happen a bunch. So anyways, it helps me really love myself, love my body. It's much more body positive now than I think people know that it is. So anyways, a couple of years ago, they were like, do you want to be an ambassador for us? And I was like, hell to the yeah.
And you were just literally just going to meetings and eating their food and following their plan. And they years. Approached you. I didn't know you had a complicated relationship with food.
Not even complicated. I think when you're an actor, you just have a more public relationship with food. And also, it's not even my relationship with food. And the relationship with my body. It's like translating and being able to let go of people saying really mean things to you about your body and just loving your body.
Gosh, I'm not there. Especially right now. I look at myself and boy, I'm trying to embrace her and be like, that body got you or is getting you through a pandemic. That body has gotten you through birth. That body is still upright and walking and healthy. And you have to love it. But holy cow, does media and just what we've been programmed to believe, no matter how well adjusted you are, it's
really hard.
Yeah, we always say too, this is a terrible thing to say, but when you see somebody and you haven't seen them a while and they're doing a show, and there are some shows that are much more stressful than others on your spirit, on your body. And sometimes just doing it 8 times a week makes you just exert more calories in a way.
For sure.
And we always go, oh, look, they got the cortisol 8 show a week body going.
That's right.
That's right. Your cortisol levels are so high. I remember one time during Kinky Boots, it was right before I got diagnosed with celiac disease. I was so sick and we couldn't figure out what's wrong. Finally, I went to see a functional doctor and we got, it was my first test for celiac. And at the same time they did a cortisol test. My cortisol levels were so high that they thought I had Cushing's disease.
Wow.
That's how high they were. And that sort of was like a wake up call for me.
I don't know if it's like this in other countries, though. I mean, I think that our ideal of what women are supposed to be is much different here than other places. Right. I have a son. I don't have a daughter, but I think if I had a daughter, it would be really challenging because you really don't want them to grow up with this paranoia that we all seem. And does anybody look in the mirror and go, thank you, body? I don't know.
No,
I try.
I keep it in check. I make sure I keep it in check. I don't want that for her, but I will be right by her side if and when it happens. And sadly, I think it's going to be more when than if. So.
It's interesting to watch the younger generation, though, shift sort of their conversation on this topic. That's been one of the things that's been sort of surprising to me about my journey with WW has been so pure. And the reason I was so willing to be so open about my success in sort of following the program was because I felt like it really helped me be body positive. But that's sort of been a challenge. Sometimes people are really aggressively kind of angry with me for doing what they think is a diet. Because we're in this other conversation, and how could you promote a diet? And what I really want people to kind of take away is their main focus is body positivity. It's all about like, how can we help you feel healthier? How can we help you get more sleep? How can we help you spend more time meditating? Here's literally a section on the app that's free for just meditation.
Yeah,
here's a sleep tracker.
People are like knee-jerk reaction on social media, getting a little frustrated with you because you make that very, very clear as the ambassador for them on your social media. And whenever you're sort of promoting their mission and their methodology, it's far more about this holistic approach to health, mind, body, spirit, than it is just diet.
Yeah. And part of my story too with it is that I don't always talk about this very much, but I feel like they would be fine with me sharing it. My grandma's in heaven looking down on this. So she'll be like, yeah, tell us. And my mom, I think, would be okay with it. But my grandma struggled so much with her weight her whole life. And it really led to her complications with her health in many ways, but especially when she got diagnosed with breast cancer at the very end. And that's ultimately what she died from. It really, really was a challenge in her fight. And also it was just really hard to watch somebody who had something else going on. Like if she was alive right now, we'd be like, she probably had another autoimmune disorder. Something else was going on. But the one thing she always sort of enjoyed was she always like loved Weight Watchers. And then on the other side, but she loved her body and was really kind of sweet about it. And I loved watching her just accept her sort of conflict and like love herself. My mom on the other side of the spectrum spent a lot of years navigating an eating disorder through her high school years. And then even when I was a little girl, I watched her really struggle before she had my brother and sister. And then when she had my brother and sister, she struggled. And I found her really finding solace in Weight Watchers. This is so many years ago, and they would do it together, but for different reasons. My mom trying to find a healthy weight and loving her body and finding peace with her body, and my grandma from another side of the spectrum. So I just think I saw both sides of the equation, two women fighting sort of different sort of food struggles and body struggles. And I think me and my sister kind of landed in the middle because we knew that we sort of didn't want to participate in that sort of constant mind. But also we got help and we live in a different generation. Yeah. So I just think it's going to just be, a conversation for women till the end of time. But if you can focus on your sleep and drinking water and loving yourself.
Hydrate answers everything. What was it like growing up in a very maternal household with grandma, and your mom was a single mom? Is that right?
My mom had me, she got pregnant her senior year of high school and didn't know she was pregnant for like the first 5 months, which is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Didn't she, I was one of those, I didn't know I was pregnant babies. I mean, I wasn't like born in the senior year gym or anything like that, but she didn't know for a while. And like my grandma had a dream and came in my mom's room in the middle of the night and was like, Holly, are you pregnant? And my mom was like, I don't know, maybe. Not crazy, kind of magical. And then they got a pregnancy test in the middle of the night. And my grandma was adopted and was her and my grandpa were really just sort of really outspokenly lovely and wonderful about making sure that she felt like, she had the option to give me up for adoption if she wanted to. And she decided that she, wanted to have me. And so we lived with my grandma and grandpa and my 3 uncles. Until I was 6. And then she married my dad. So my grandma and grandpa lived next door to us. And we lived next door to my grandma Ashford, my great grandma. And I took care of her. When I was like 10, me and my cousin Tyler would walk home from school and watch Grandma Faye. I thought that sounds bad, but some people with dementia, they need some, some help watching over. So me and Tyler would make her a snack and she'd watch cartoons with us. We were supposed to give her pills and she'd wait until we looked away and she'd chuck them across the room.
Do you think that's where your maturity came from? Being 19 and being so self-composed and ready for anything. When I met you, you were a young-in, at least from the outside looking in. nothing fazed you. You were ready to take it all in and take it all on. And it was crazy impressive, like your calm and your consistency for being 19 years old and like, stepping into the role of Glinda. Do you think that like being 10 and having responsibilities, being raised in sort of a communal environment led to that?
It's so funny that you asked that because I look back at those times and that's so sweet of you. And sometimes some of it was like, when you're 19, 20, 21, you're kind of fearless because you have no reason not to be. So I think that was a part of it. The other part is I remember being a really little girl and sort of like hearing conversations that I wasn't supposed to hear. I remember a neighbor saying something really awful about my mom and I, and about my mom having me so young. And my mom was in college right away and she's a PE teacher. It was sort of like both of us were trying to prove her choice right. I always felt as a little girl, I was a major overachiever, had to have straight A pluses. And some of that I think was to be like, see, me and my mom are great. We did a great thing,
Didn't you graduate high school and college really early?
Yes, which my husband makes fun of constantly. Part of it was like an overachiever thing. And then I think there's I don't know it sounds obnoxious to be like, I've always gravitated towards old souls. Right now I'm Be Positive. My character, I don't know if I'm supposed to like say what we're doing. We're doing a major change in the show, but my character works at an assisted living facility. And it's just like, feels like home to me. And Linda Lavin's on the show and she's just such a kindred spirit. I hate to be like so cliche and say like, I'm an old soul. But that, and I did a lot of like not weird, but wonderful theater in Denver. When I was 13, I looked like I was 19 and they cast me at the Country Dinner Playhouse. And after they cast me, they were like, why does your mom keep driving you? I was like, oh, I can't drive. And they were like, why can't you drive? And I was like, well, I don't have my license yet. And they were like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 13. And they were like, oh my God, we have to redo your paperwork.
You can't kiss that 41-year-old man. This isn't right.
I did when I was 16, I played Sandy in Grease. Kind of last minute, somebody backed out.
And your Danny was how old?
Brian Nunn, who at the time was like 31. And I remember being like, why is he being so weird when we have to kiss? I was 16. Poor guy. He probably was like more. And then we ended up working together later. He played the witch's. Did he play the witch's father when we were doing it? And so we'd always be like, hey, remember when we kissed when I was 16?
Remember?
I was looking back at a bunch of your work before the interview, and one of the things I noticed was how comfortable you seem inside of characters that are so different. You seem to find this versatility and this range, and you pull it off with complete ease. None of it ever seems put on in each of these characters, even though some are really funny, some are really damaged. So, they're all so different and yet real and believable. How do you find that kind of honesty inside of all these different characters? Do you have a process that you go through? Are there things you look for in a script to say, oh yeah, that's what I want to sink my teeth into?
That's the best compliment ever. Thank you so much. Oh my God. When you first start out, they always ask you like, what's your type? Who are you? And at the beginning, I think that can be a helpful tool. At the beginning, also, it's all about categorizing and putting you in a box. And when you're learning, all you want to do is be versatile and play every role you possibly can. And so at the beginning of my career, sometimes I had to really fight hard to get into certain rooms because it was sort of like, well, we know her as this, so that's what she can be. She can't be this other thing. For instance, like when I went in for Maureen and Rent, I had like 6 callbacks for it because I think everybody was like, is this right? Just sort of because I'd played Glinda.
Right.
And,
right.
They were
maybe
like,
she was great on a Tuesday, but is she going to be good next Thursday? Oh, she was good that Thursday. Let's bring her back on Monday because this can't possibly work. Right. Yeah. It's almost like they're trying to debunk how wonderful you actually are.
And even as simple as like, well, Adina Menzel played Elphaba. So I think we need an Elphaba. I think it's sometimes it's mindset.
Their limited thinking, and it affects your career. So it's amazing that you could push through all of that.
That actually too, that role was really like, I'll be forever grateful to Michael Greif, and also Will Van Dyke was the music director, and he called me and was like, hey, I think, it just sort of was like, they're going to call you back in, but just know this is going to be kind of an uphill and you just got to go for it. But anyways, I use the same process for every girl. And there's always like a piece of your soul in every character you play. And I always believe that there's a really important piece of their puzzle. You have to find where they're vulnerable. And when you can find that, then everything else kind of fills itself out. But I always just try to figure out what they want, what's their obstacle, what the relationship is to the people around them. And then I always think that their backstory is amazingly helpful. Their physicality is everything. I'm sort of an outside in person. I always feel like, that last day when you get to put on your costume and your eyelashes are so important. And your wig. The wig.
It's all about the wig.
Yeah, but it's always feels like, when you're baking a cake, if the cake isn't good, if the actual cake doesn't taste good, it can be beautiful, but we're not going to care, So I would say I have sort of like an old school process. I do some Uta Hagen, take it back to the basics. I sit down with my little journal and I break down every scene like super old school. Like, what do I want? How am I going to get it? Break down the beats. And I always feel like that gives you the roadmap to the girl that you're going to find. Yes. And also comedy is higher stakes than drama. It's like always the highest stakes. Not wild.
But you go from these comic characters into these sort of damaged characters, like your character in Masters of Sex. You manage to pull her off without ever going over the top. It's like you're walking this fine line between comedy and not comedy, because she's funny and all of these, but she's also, damaged and broken and all these things.
I think somebody asked me in an interview recently, like, how do you prepare differently for film and TV than you do theater? And I was sort of explaining that it's all sort of the same prep, but it's tone that's different. And when we teach, like sometimes that's the hardest thing to explain to a young actor. Like if they've been doing a lot of theater, like how do you make yourself smaller for the camera? How do you explain that technically? I think it's tone. Yes. And so for like Betty, for example, she had to have a sense of humor about everything in her life. She had to make a joke because it was that brutal. That was her only way to find joy, was to make fun of it. That was sort of my window into her comedy. And also for every character, it's sort of like you as the actor and have to know what their comedy engine is and then sort of bury it and not be aware of it and then just be honest, I
remember when I reached out and I was going in for like, a second or third callback for Masters of Sex to play your lover. Do you remember?
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
Do you remember? It went to Sarah Silverman. Well, it's just wild how everything is so interwoven and it all just sort of circles back around itself. But that was one time, it's very, very rare that I will reach out to someone who's already like part of the fabric or the original cast of a show that I'm auditioning for as a reoccurring guest or whatever. But I thought, man, if I can't reach out to Annaleigh, I don't know who I could possibly reach out to. And Sarah was fantastic. The two of you together were really wonderful. Was she a kick to work with?
The best, the dreamiest.
I'm so happy to hear it.
The crew, we would savor the days we'd get Sarah. She's so busy. So 2 episodes, we'd have to do like 10 scenes and we'd do them in 2 days with her because we'd have to just push them all together because she was so busy. And everybody was like, Sarah's coming tomorrow. It was like Christmas.
You mentioned Will Van Dyke and now your relationship has like continued. You guys have a long standing collaboration with each other. Will you talk about that?
Yeah, we, oh my goodness. He was second key when we were in Wicked. Yep. And me and him started like kind of at the same time. And I always thought his music was really special and we always stayed in touch and we're good friends. And then around Rent, that revival that we did at New World Stages, he was music directing, he was MDing. And the way that theater is set up, you spend so much time together in a very intimate way. And so we got even closer to also his now husband, Andy Jones. And then at the same time, we were working on the workshops for Kinky Boots. And he was he was being their copyist and he was assistant conducting. And so while we were working on Kinky Boots, he was like, Annaleigh, we have to do a show. We've been talking about doing a show forever. We need to do a callback. We got to do it. I was like, okay, if you actually just book the date for me, then it'll make us do it. And so we did. And every 2-show day for like 3 months leading up to the date, we would just work on it in between 2-show day shows. And he's so patient with me because I write all of the banter with my best friend, Craig Jessup. And so he'd be patient with me and wait for my weird jokes that we'd write. And he's the best for me. He's so much more organized than I am. And he's so patient with me and he's so supportive and so loving. And now we've done so many cities together and so many weird shows. And we've done the New Year's show at 54 Below a couple times now. And he lets me do the weirdest things. I do bingo. I do lottery drawings, and sometimes I feel like
the old lady in you.
Yes, that's the new chapter. I feel like of my club act is like there'll be a game.
Please wear something knitted next time. If you need a knitted gown or something like that.
I have to say, if I was going to a retirement home, I would really, really hope that you were there. I think it would be really fun. Maybe it's something the three of us should plan on down the line.
Actors home. We're there.
Actors home.
We are there.
Did you ever perform at the Actors Home? Like we used to sometimes go for Kinky Boots, and Adina Alexander would, as we'd walk out, she'd go, I'll see you guys in 14 years. Serious.
The countdown begins. You and I have similar little families. We're both married to actors. You've mentioned Joe already during this conversation, and you have a little human. How are you making this work? Because I can't imagine what a network's film schedule looks like. You do get weekends off. Is that right?
Yeah, which is like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. It's, this last week was actually one of the more challenging weeks than we've had in a long time as a family. And it was the first time I saw Jack in a long time kind of be affected by it in this new era of his life. And Felicia Rashad told me once, we were doing Shakespeare in the Park and I had to go away for like a day and a half or something and come right back. And I remember her saying, honey, it's going to shift when he turns like 6, 7, when he's kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. Those are going to be the hardest years for you with you being away. And I went, really? And she goes, yeah. I don't know why, but those will be the hardest. And I always sort of took that with me, put it in my heart and carried it. I felt like we had our first week of that last week. I just had 3 days in a row where I left before he got up and I got home after he'd gone to bed, and his birthday was on Wednesday. And because it's COVID, nobody can visit you on set. And I just looked at the week ahead, and the last couple of weeks have been kind of challenging and busy. And I just said, he has to see me on his birthday. We got to figure this out. So I went to our AD and our production manager, and I just was like, hey, what can we do? Can they get tested and they'll wear masks? And can they come on set just for a little bit? And dinner break, can we sing happy birthday to him as the crew and just bring, and they were lovely and they did everything. And he finally got to see the set, which he had wanted. And it really made a difference for us as a family. And I'm really grateful for that, because COVID has really made being a working mom in our business or working dad in our business much more complicated, because they can't come to set and visit you. They can't come to the theater. Probably. I don't know what they're going to do. And also our little ones are not vaccinated. That's why we're depending on all of these adults. Right. So I will say that I feel like it's going to be an ongoing, ever evolving kind of conflict in our life as parents. I sort of made a choice recently to encourage us as parents to make our profession in our life, while it is different from so many other kids' lives, special, and try to make it the most positive thing we can. And when we see it becoming a problem or a roadblock, then we're just going to use every tool we have. Hey, if we can do, I'm so open to having therapy as a family when we need it, and just constantly just being really open and talking about it. Like this morning when we woke up, he got in bed with me and he was like, are you going to be home when I get home? And I was like, yes. But if I wasn't, we'd face it. FaceTime is a miracle, I think, for people in this day.
Does he understand what you do? Does Jack really understand what mama does?
He just figured it out. And part of it, I think, is going to set was, I think, helpful. And then also as actors, we're all friends with actors. So that's been kind of helpful too.
Right.
You know, like friends of ours that he sees in things and then meets them. That's more helpful. But the one thing that's been kind of sad to me is we haven't gotten to do theater this last couple of years. So he hasn't gotten to, part of his little life was like being with us at the theater, coming to the theater. And that's just like that. It'll be interesting by the time we get to be in a show again, hopefully he'll get to like see it, you know?
Phoebe has asked me, why do you have to pretend to be someone else's mama when you're my real mama?
Oh boy.
It's not
Are you kidding me?
Question to answer.
Wow.
She has listened to us when we are putting ourselves on tape, and usually it's after we put her to bed, but there have been times where we lovingly say, okay, it's time for you to watch Sesame Street for 2 hours, or it's time to watch Daniel Tiger, whatever. And she will actively say, I think you're really good, and I don't want you to get it. I want someone else to get it.
Oh, wow.
My gosh.
So
She's so smart.
At 6.5, these are like ideas and themes, and the way she's able to formulate the question or the idea. I've never heard it put that way before. Of course, I read the script. I'm like, okay, I'm playing this mom, but the idea of through her eyes, through her lens, saying, I'm trading being the real mom to leave her to be a pretend mom, and what that might look like for her. So talk about therapy.
Does it make her think she's not enough? Is that what she's trying to say? Like, am I not enough? So you have to go pretend to be someone else's mom? I don't know if she's
that deep, but she certainly knows that there's a sharing going on, and she is not on board with the sharing of me being other people's moms. She knows she is my priority. However, I can hear she's making it very clear that it is complicated and confusing and perhaps hurtful to her.
And there's so much guilt that goes along with trying to be a mom who has her own career and is doing her own thing. The guilt.
It's bizarro hours too. Like our hours are so weird. I always try to remind myself like, oh, if I was a doctor, maybe I wouldn't feel so guilty.
Right.
Like,
no, I don't think so. I think just being a mom that's not at home, you feel guilty.
Exactly. Then I watched The Housewives of Beverly or Dallas, and Tiffany Moon feels just as guilty, and it made me feel a lot better.
I learned this in therapy too, that an individual cannot possess guilt. It has to be outwardly imposed upon you. So that's an interesting thing for me to kind of like, sit with, saturate in, because I'm like, okay, is this something that I truly feel? Am I truly feeling guilty? Or is this something that is being imposed upon me? And I'm now just hearing everybody else's opinions and taking them on as my own. And if I am truly feeling guilty, and it is something that is, I'm harboring truthfully inside myself, that's a different conversation. Are you seeing like a musician or an artist or a creative in your son, since that's really the language that you and Joe speak at home? Are you seeing Jack feel that way?
He's definitely giving us, I like to get a laugh. And I know what timing is now, which is like, but I thought for sure he was tone deaf. He also, when I sing, stop singing. Oh my gosh. He does not want me to sing at all.
You're kidding.
No. Seb used to do that to me too. He never wanted me to sing. People used to pay me for that, And he's like, no, I don't want to hear it.
No,
I must admit, there is no space for me to sing in our house. Phoebe's like, I'm climbing up the stairs. Ouch, I think I got a splinter. What am I going to wear to hip hop class today? The whole song, the whole damn day is an operetta. And I keep telling people she's either going to be Amy Schumer or Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know which one just yet, but she gives you she too has the jokes down. That's when you can just see her explode when she has people attention, and she'll say something so wackadoodle, but she doesn't try to be wackadoodle the first time. So everybody just laughs because it's organic and it's coming out of the mouth of a 4, 5, 6-year-old. And then she sees it and she's like, ooh, I'm going to duplicate this. And then she keeps doing it and less laugh, as we go, because it wasn't as organic or fresh the first time. And she's now learning to reenact the freshness. That's where we are. It's a bit scary, but we're trying to just lovingly support, but not encourage. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's terrifying to me. I did notice that I noticed he was a little speech delayed, and I was really aggressive about getting speech therapy. And our pediatrician was so wonderful, and I kept getting him tested. And also, my mom's a teacher and has a degree in child development, so was just really wanted to be on it more for his confidence than anything else and communication. But the way that I noticed it was that he wasn't cooing and oohing, and he wasn't singing with me. And I was doing something in the park with George when he was 6 weeks old. And then we did the run from the time he was 3 months old till he was 6 months old. So sometimes I'm like, did he hear too much singing? Like, was it, but he loves that score and he doesn't really know why. Like, you know, it's like in his little bones. It's wild how that score is a part of him.
Everybody loves that score.
Yeah, but not at 4. I mean, what a mature musical palette to be like, yes, Sunday o'clock with Joel. My favorites.
He loves "Come and Get Your Love." That's his favorite song. Isn't that great?
Oh, that's a great theme song.
Girls,
through life.
I was just going to say,
enjoy it. Because in 10 very short years, they'll be driving a car out of your driveway like my son is now. And it is crazy. I only have 4 more months before he can drive on his own. And every night, he comes in and goes, "Come on, Mom, let's watch a show." And we go in his room and we watch a show together every night. And my sister-in-law said today, that's over. The minute he can drive, no more TV shows. He's just going to be gone. I was like, don't tell me that. Please don't tell me that, because I live for, he goes out, he does his sports, he comes home. "Come on, Mom." And we just go in with the dogs and we watch a show and we pick something, we binge it together. And, and as they get older, the time you spend with them changes, So my husband's always taking him to his boxing and his sports things and camping. And I think that both of us are very hyper aware of the finality of the years. The childhood's just flown by. And I know we'll always be close, but just treasure it, even though it's so hard and it's always juggling. Just feel like every day you get to just check in with the finality of what it really is.
My husband just waved at me because they're off to Vivi's first hip hop class right now.
Shut up. Shut up. Is she going to do the Running Man?
No, probably. It happens in the basement of a church. So I don't think it's going to be like WAP or anything, out of control with the songs. But she is so excited. And she picked out her outfit 3 days ago, which was like a tie-dye shirt that was a tree that went into a peace symbol. And she asked me to cut her jeans into jean shorts and put a hole in it and some high top shoes and I mean, this was 2 or 3 days ago that she had to have this outfit ready for hip hop class.
So cute.
And now it's time for the 5 questions.
Holiday shopping lists are long, and finding the best deals while still giving thoughtful gifts can be challenging. That's where Amazon comes in. Amazon was just named the lowest priced online retailer in the U.S. for the 9th consecutive year by Profitero, a third-party analytics and research firm. After analyzing thousands of products, they found Amazon's prices are 14% lower on average and up to 5% lower than the nearest competitor in key gift categories like electronics and toys. When you're shopping for everyone from your spouse to your second cousin's new baby, those savings really add up. The best part is you don't sacrifice selection for better prices. Amazon offers everything from major brands to unique finds from small businesses, all delivered right to your door. If you're trying to be smart about your holiday budget, and who isn't, visit Amazon.com.
What was your nickname as a child? Who gave it to you and why?
Annie. Don't know where the origin is from, but I believe it was like a birth thing because my name is Annaleigh, Annaleigh, one word. It's a lot. My mom was 18 when she had me. So I think it was just easier for everybody to just call me Annie. And then, I sang Tomorrow I don't remember not singing Tomorrow.
That's also a good anthem. Do you have a good luck charm or a ritual of any kind that you do before a big event or a performance?
Well, I always have ladybugs around. I always loved ladybugs forever, and they're good luck. And then this is so wild, but I had this magical babysitter who also I've known since she was a little girl, who also has psychic things. And I forgot one day I was like, oh my God, I remember your mom telling me that you're psychic. What's that about? And she's like, oh yeah, we had a mutual friend who'd passed away. Our sweet friend Brenda. And she'd be like, Brenda's here all the time watching over Jack and some lady with the ladybugs. I don't know, who is this? And she started basically describing my grandma. Isn't that amazing? And she goes, yeah, she's always sending you ladybugs. I don't know. And I see ladybugs at the weirdest times. I was like, when I was really sick during Kinky Boots before we knew I had celiac, a ladybug was in my dressing room in the Hirschfield.
No, that's wild. No, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. So that, and then before I go on stage, I always say, like, God, go ahead of me and stay after me. This is not of me. This is of you. This is just like, I hope that I can share your light.
I like that.
Oh, I love that a lot. Yeah.
You would love my house. I live in a really old house, and every fall, all these ladybugs, like hundreds of ladybugs, come and live in my walls. And then in the spring, they all come back out and then fly out the window. And I don't kill them. I don't let them vacuum them up or anything. They're everywhere. They kind of hide in the corners of the walls all winter long.
Wow.
Yeah, it's weird.
Beautiful.
What's the lifespan of a ladybug? Does anybody know?
I have no idea.
I don't know either. I sort of don't want to know.
No.
They live forever.
That's
right.
They
live forever.
Ladybugs live forever. That's the title of your episode.
Okay. Next question. If you could go back and talk to your teenage self, what would you tell her? What advice could you give?
You don't have to get an A+. Oh God, that's going to make me tear up. And also, you don't have to get an A+ and you can have more fun and nobody will care. I had a lot of fun, but I could have just been like, I could have gone to one more slumber party and it would have been okay. I just never, I would also say, like, go ahead and sleep more. I just remember never sleeping, just really being tired.
If we were to open up your closet, is there a piece of clothing or jewelry that holds great importance to you that you'll never get rid of and means something special?
I have my grandma's ring. And when we got engaged, Joe had the band replaced because when she was really, really sick at the end, she got really, really swollen. And these sweet nurses tried for like 3 days to get her ring off her finger, and they just couldn't get it off. And they cried. They all cried when they had to cut it off her finger. So my mom took it, and then she got it soldered back together and gave it to me. And I just wore it. And then when Joe and I were about to get engaged, he was like, what do you want? You know, if we were to get married, what would you want? He'd always say, and I'd be like, I want the ring I got on my finger. It's the best ring that ever happened. And then it broke where it was cut. You know, that happens sometimes with white gold. He took it without me knowing, and he had the whole band replaced. And he got my grandma's name on one side on the inside and my name on the other. So it says Annie and Carol on the inside. And that's my ring. Isn't that the sweetest?
So sweet. Yes.
That is the sweetest, because most people would put Annie and Joe, but he was so loving and selfless that he took himself totally out of it. And it's just, oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Good stuff.
You got a good one for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the big one.
If you were a nail polish color, what color would you be? And what would the cheeky little name be?
Okay. I would be a coral orange red, you know, like that, like coral orange red. Mm-hmm. And I would be, where's your wig?
Yes, you would. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
So gorgeous.
This is my favorite part of the week.
Oh, hooray.
I'm so glad. It's so good to meet you.
All right, lady. You are, like I said in the beginning, delightful. And I really adore you as a human, as an artist. And
likewise on all things. I love you, my friend.
Go rest. We adore you.
All right. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Here's what struck a chord with us.
Stages podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Our theme song says, love where you are now, but sometimes we all need a little help. I've learned from therapy and in my yoga practice that growth comes from challenges. A good therapist can help you reframe the way you look at a challenge and your life. And BetterHelp can provide you with a therapist that gives you some tools to navigate. They offer customized online therapy, either on video or phone chat sessions. It's more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can reach a therapist in under 48 hours. And right now, Stages cast members get 10% off their first month with BetterHelp, so don't wait. Remember, when you support our sponsors, you support Stages Podcast. So log on to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/stages, and love where you are now. Well, how great is she?
Really great.
I really do think she's Meryl Streep. She's the next one.
She goes to the very boundaries of physical humor, of voice inflection humor, of facial sort of elasticity humor. But it's always believable. Grounded. That's right.
Yeah. She's super grounded.
I think it could be that old soul that she speaks of, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing that we can't articulate that might be otherworldly or spiritually connected, is this old soul that is at the center and core of her. But she does create, we say this word a lot on this podcast, but she truly is kind of the mama of magic. Like even when she was 19, she'd be like, oh, that's magical. You're magical. That costume's magical. Your voice is magical. Like that's just the adjective that's always been part of her vocabulary. But I think her intentionality in every day and interacting with people, whether it's her son, her young son, or, the AD on Be Positive, she brings this essence of fun and joy, and where it doesn't have to be heavy, right? The days and the life doesn't have to be heavy.
Yeah, I really, really liked her. There's this genuine quality about her and honesty. She's so candid about what she says. She's just very real, very honest, and a real super talent, I'm so impressed everything I see her in. She even did this one little bit on the Sex and the City movie where she was at a table. It was just a few lines, and she was drinking a coffee, and she takes a sip and realizes it's not non-fat milk, and she looks like she's going to cry. It was that quick and that good. It was a perfect example of somebody taking just one or two lines in a scene and stealing it. And you are so lucky that you got to work together. I mean, she must just be a joy to work with.
Yeah. So my very first performance ever going on as Alfie, as Elphaba, Kristen Chenoweth was my Glenda. And then on the tour, it was Kendra Kassenbaum. And then when we hit Broadway, it was Annaleigh, and all three of them were so different in so many remarkable ways. But again, this sort of young person who would anchor the show, because I would come in going, oh, I'm a little tired. My voice is this, that, and the other. And she would just be even, well, let's see what happens. Let's just go with it. I've got your back. And I thought, who is this person literally at 20 something, finding the calm and the joy and the levity of every day?
Yeah, no, she's really cool. She's really cool.
I think I always say I have so much to learn at the end of every interview, but man, when I had to, again, prepare for this interview and looking at her resume at such a young age, it's shockingly impressive.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And the beauty of it is that she just goes about it like it is. She doesn't need to toot her own horn because she's showing up. She's doing the work. She's doing it truthfully. I also was very impressed, and inside I was like cheering for her, because I'm glad that young performers and actors heard her say, I do the work. I go back to Uta Hagen. I look at every scene and say, what do I want from this scene? So it's not like she's just kind of relying on her own quirkiness or charm or her sort of reputation. She sits down and she does the work truthfully. And that's what gets her the gig. And that's what makes her stand out on all these mediums, all these different mediums.
All right, ladies.
All right. Thank you all so very much.
All right. I love you, and I'll see you soon.
I love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So if this episode resonated with you, please follow, subscribe, and share.
You can always find us at stagespodcast.net. A big thank you goes out to our assistant and doer of all things technical, Saren Cho. Thank you to Noah Kaiserman and Garrett Healy for our beautiful original music, Melanie Von Trapp for our Stages Podcast logo, Brock Grenfeld, our sound engineer, and Ellison Arns, our PR and social media expert.
And thank you, our cast members, for joining us today. We hope you come back next week.